Good morning. Today is Friday, May 27th, about 8:30 in the morning, and it is Memorial Day weekend, we'll call it that. Within the last 10 minutes of me getting here, I've already had 2 more cars pull in, so I will predict this will be a busy area. I am again at the Goose Creek Wilderness, which is a very popular place to go when you live in Colorado in the month of May. Keep in mind, 1 week ago we had a huge snowstorm, so this area probably got close to 2 feet. My backyard is just around 5,800 feet in Denver Metro, and I got about 10 inches and a lot of tree damage. So kind of unexpected. Trail reports, nothing too recent. The road end was fine, but you could definitely see muddy tracks that were pretty deep from people that were probably here or attempted to. Again, no real recent trail reports, but I've been here multiple times, so there's multiple loops here. So I am going to be doing what I call a medium loop, a 2-nighter. So Goose Creek, McCurdy, Lake Park, and a couple other trails in between there. So again, since there is some unknown, I figured I'll do a 2-nighter for my first trip of the year. But weather's 50 degrees, it should be very nice. So once I get going, I will check in, and I think I'm going to do it in the reverse direction. So I've come out here before, and again, there's a lot of different trails to choose from, but my itinerary today, again, I'm going to do a medium loop, what I would call, so I can get it done in 2 nights. And I will probably go in the clockwise direction. All right, first bridge crossing, only 5 minutes from where I was in my other video. Water level's actually looking pretty good. So again, you will have water on both sides of the loop, at least your first few miles of this hike, and it kind of disappears in the middle. So intersections is where you kind of decide where you're gonna go. So I'm gonna do the Goose Creek toward the left here of the sign right here. So again, on my return day, I'll be coming up this way. If you're here to fish or do a 1-nighter, that area I think is usually better. It's also where there's some pretty cool cabins. This area has more water at the beginning, a little smaller, more forest, but again, it all goes the same way. So, all right, excited to be out here, glad to be here. It's time to get going. So there's probably gonna be about a dozen water crossings this morning, and first one here, that to me is higher than what I normally see, and got a little wet right there. So normally you make a decision of taking off your shoes, but for 1 step, 2 step, no big deal. But you can tell it's got a dirty looking color to it as well, so definitely fresh runoff. And I've already passed my first snow, so I definitely expect to see snow as I approach true elevation. In the shade now, and you can tell the temp definitely went down. It's got to be in the mid 40s, I'm going to say. But beautiful start to the day, and again, like I said earlier, it's just kind of nice to be out, get your first trip going. It's always interesting when you're packing for it. Do I have everything? Am I bringing too much? Am I not bringing enough? I do think it's going to be cold, so I packed extra clothing, and I brought my heavier quilt, so I'm not worried about it. But no bugs so far, and it's a quiet, peaceful trail. So far I've had 10 water crossings, and 8 of them, the logs were wet. So this is definitely the highest I've ever seen the water here. And if you actually come here in August, September, it can be so low you're kind of hurting for water, and it's not even very trickly and running here. All right, snow is definitely here. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing a 2-nighter. So I figured it could be a little bit of a hassle. Seeing my first tracks, I believe it was a moose. You don't have tons of animal life out here, but you see it every now and then. So the feet are definitely going to get wet today. That's why I'm like, well, it is what it is. Not too worried about it, but definitely now as I'm gaining elevation, the snow is a lot more frequent, and the bridge crossings are actually pretty slippery, so the trekking poles are great. That's why I'm not filming it, because I don't want to do something stupid. But fantastic start. It's actually a little chilly in here. All right, so part of backpacking is trying new things, and I don't use Camelbacks anymore. I use smart water bottles. They're thin, they fit in your pack easy, but one of the issues is getting them, it's usually putting them back in while you're wearing your pack. So I took my old Camelback kind of jimmy rigged one of the bottles, ran the tube through it, and if you can see here, I have it hanging here. So this is going into my bottle, and it works great. So far so good on trying new things. All right, slow progress, not because it's hilly. This is the trail. And there's running water in it. You can see why over here, that is over the banks. So normally, again, that's pretty slow in there. That is over the banks on the trail. That's kind of what I'm going into. So I'm glad to be hitting a higher elevation now. I'll get away from this, but yeah, it's kind of a wet slog so far. Okay, about an hour and 20 minutes into the hike, 360 of where I'm at. You can see snow way over there behind me, kind of in the shadows, base of the trees. So obviously that's the direction I'm coming from. And this trail has probably been 1/3 underwater. So I have given up trying to be clean with it. And it'll flatten out, stop. And it's interesting, the water will flow in both directions. Sometimes it actually goes that way, but nice open area. So I'll probably be taking a break in about 20 minutes or so once I get to my next water. The only issue I'm having is the line I put in the washing machine, and I even soaped it up, and I'm starting to get a little bit of soapy taste. So I don't think I cleaned it out very well. So when I can, I will stop, find some water, and get it cleaned out, because in theory it will work great, but not when it tastes like soap. All right, so I found a spot where I can flush out the hose. You can see it's actually working pretty good. I got water coming out the other end, starting from up there. And again, this is the trail. This is not some creek, and that's what it's like for most of it right here. So definitely gonna get wet. My water supply itself is absolutely fine. So again, I think I soaped that line just because it had been a long time. Ran it to the dishwasher, but I forgot to flush out that hose. So I'm going to give that a good 5 minutes, and then it should be fine. And it's definitely slower going. So I'm about 2 hours into my hike, and I'm just under 4 miles. So this is a slower pace just because you're kind of picking your path, left, right, etc. Sometimes right in the middle of it. But and I've only seen one other set of tracks, and they're coming this way. And so obviously that is not from today, but probably not a ton of people out here yet. So if I do run into animal life, it's very early in the season, so they probably haven't seen people either. So, all right, 5 more minutes here, quick snack, and back on the soggy trail. The snow is definitely out at elevation. An idea of what I've been going through. It's pretty cold trudging. And there's spots that open up at the sunlight, and then back at it. So you can tell I'm kind of getting toward max altitude for the day. I just ran into my first couple. They had a dog with them. The dog was wearing goggles. That was kind of cool. So I asked why, and I was like, is it snow blindness? And he said, I wasn't thinking about that. He said the dog had cataracts, I guess, but probably wouldn't hurt. So yeah, definitely getting in elevation and more in the woods. So probably only about 4 miles in the hike, so it's a slow hike. Feels great though. It's probably in the 50s. Feet are getting a little chilly, so time to get moving again. All right, I made it to my first intersection. So here's my sign. So I am doing the Lake Park Trail, 639. So I will be going this way. And it cuts in a little shorter, but I believe it is steeper and supposed to be more challenging and difficult. I've done it before, but this one's been a couple of years. the big loop, you do the Hankins Pass. So I believe I will be on this trail for about 4.7 miles to my next intersection. And once I make it there, I'll start looking for a campsite. All right, 12:30, I'm taking a break. So I've been coming from over there, probably about 15 switchbacks. This entire route has been uphill after that sign, and definitely tough for about a half hour. Now it's kind of leveling out. I'm hoping it turns around over here. So this route, it's constantly twisting or switchbacks. It's definitely not a straight line. So I believe it does. Hey, I could be wrong, but it's definitely getting cold. I was actually a half hour ago really close to putting my jacket on. So I bet with this wind, when you're walking on the snow, it's in the 40s. So definitely not warm. So I'm gonna get going here in a couple minutes, but definitely need a snack. So I'm gonna have some speed balls, made some of those. So kind of like cookie dough, but it's not cookie dough. You actually don't even cook those right there, but a lot of protein, peanut butter, honey, blah, 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 good for you. I bet each one of those is 175 calories. So good when you're hiking, not so good when you're watching TV at home. So again, really nice out here. I've only seen 2 people and a dog, and you can definitely tell there is snow everywhere in the shade and the trails. This is finally opening up. So all right, 5-minute break and back on the trail. So coming from behind me, I keep thinking I've made the summit, and then I'm always wrong. All right, it feels like I am on the way down now. And this is the best look at it. So definitely sugar. So being on this at call it almost 1 o'clock, no problem, but at 4:30 or so, when it starts to harden up and get frozen out here, probably not a good idea. So I'm going to keep moving along, and hopefully if I am on the downhill, that means I should be at my sign in, oh, I'd say 1.5 miles at the most. All right, in a big bowl area now, kind of nice, but I am noticing, I'm not a big fan of these clouds. So another reason to get moving. All right, heading uphill. Been doing it for the last 20 minutes. It's actually not too steep, but this is definitely the most snow I've had. It's probably 6 inches deep. I appreciate the tracks from the other 2 people I saw today. It gives you something to step into. And a while back, oh, half hour that way, the trail literally disappears and it's just a bearing point. So I'm at about 7.5 miles for the day, and they're slow miles, but I'm hoping within 1 mile to be at that intersection. So definitely in a winter wonderland up here. 360, all snow, consistently 4 to 6 inches, I'd say. So luckily those tracks from earlier today kind of show me the way, but it is it's slow going, so you have to be willing to just accept that, and one step at a time. There's nowhere you could camp up here, so I would not want to be here late in the afternoon. So it is now 2:10. So all right, I am hoping within a half hour to be at that sign and kind of at a point to where I believe it's going down to an area where I actually want to camp, because definitely not up here. Plus it's going to be really cold. This is definitely slow going downhill. Normally you can do some catch up, but there's just snow everywhere. See, every now and then you get a patch like this, but you can see what I just came through. You got to concentrate the whole time. Think about it. Use your poles. Feel your steps. So this is slow going. Probably the slowest 4.5 miles of backpacking I've ever done. But at least I'm heading down, but I just don't see anywhere where the snow dissipates. So I hope it does once I get to the bottom, so I can find a dry area to camp. All right, GoPro won't pick it up, but way on the horizon, if you look at the mountain, the one behind it with all the white, you can see the snow line. Kind of get a shot of it here. The trail is now at least peaking with normal ground, and it's not nearly as deep. So I will tell you, looking back, this was definitely a, it's known as being a tough section anyway, but when you add the snow to it, I'm going to say this is the toughest 4.5 miles that I've done with weight in the backpack, and it's actually coming down. You had to use your poles, step in. I probably slid 12 times, a couple times where it was serious, to where I was like, yikes. If I could go back, I would bring my tracks and I would have worn those, but I don't. All right, so I'm slowly working my way down, and I'm really hoping within 20 minutes over there to see something where I say, yay, I can camp. And I'm still looking for that sign as well. All right, so I finally made it to the sign, and yep, that was the toughest backpack because of the conditions that I've done. That area is known for being more difficult, so I'd probably say the outside loop would be easier, but hey, we did it. You can kind of chalk it off right there. And I'm up about 9.5 miles now, so I believe I'm going to be going this way on the Brookside McCurdy. So this is the big one. So over here, and I'm hoping within a half hour to start looking for a site. It's 3:15, so it's nice to be at camp by 4ish. Get your chores and everything done. And then obviously I'll want water as well. So still got a lot of work to do, but this trail here that stays even remotely like it, that'll be great. And I'll be honest, coming out here, this is kind of what I thought it was going to be like. All right, yeah, there's patches of this or that. That was more than I thought. So lesson learned, and I wish I would have brought my tracks for my shoes. That's the only thing I would have changed so far. So, all right, time to get rolling. Just made it to camp. It is 3:40, so definitely longer than what I thought. I would say I would add an extra 90 minutes to my hiking today. And I recognize this area. Although last time I was here, it had pretty yellow flowers. So I was actually camping site. Probably had my tent in there from the shade. Obviously I'm not doing that now, but it's a little bit off the path. You can tell that's my trail, so no one's been to it, and I'll have to make do. So it's an open area here, not too wet, so I think probably right in that gravel area I can set up, move my stuff over there. So yeah, I'll make this work, but it's good to be here. Time to get set up. And the water unfortunately is, I don't know, a quarter mile that way, but I'll probably go in that field and see if I can find anything small little trickle. But I literally heard water for the first time 15 minutes ago, so good to hear it. All right, so it's 4:30. Camp is set up. Get everything in my tent ready to go. So now I need to get water. The problem is it's back that way, so I have to walk back through the snow. Yep, I'm gonna go barefoot with my my sandals because I really need these to dry out. Otherwise tomorrow those will be ice cubes. So I literally have all of my stuff right now drying out. I'll bring it to the tent later tonight, do my best with it as well. And I think, as I said earlier, when I was at the site before in the middle of the summer, all meadows and flowers and beautiful, and I remember looking for water over there. It was too many trees, too many bushes, couldn't get it. So there is some about a quarter mile that way, so I'm gonna go do it. And unfortunately I made a catastrophic error. I made great food. I was making homemade burritos, I dehydrated, I ran it all. I did not bring fuel. I can't believe it because I actually filled them up. I got I think it's called a Lindell valve, and I took that, took some of the smaller ones and put them into bigger ones, so I only needed the one, and I forgot to bring it. I can't believe it. So I will be doing cold soaking, but also another reason I have jerky, I have trail mix. I'm not gonna go hungry, I was really looking forward to trying those meals. So, all right, time to get water, and then I guess I will think about trying a dry version of it where you just cold soak it for a half hour. We'll think about it. I don't think I will today, but maybe tomorrow. So I'll check in after I get water. All right, I went and got water, and there's actually 3 other guys that just showed up down there. They came from this way, and they're looking for sites as well. I don't know if they're coming back or not, but 3 guys and a dog. So I did bring the backcountry bar. So I got 2 brews there. I think I'll have the moon haze tonight, and tonight's special dinner is going to be some trail mix and beef jerky. So it's food, and the weird thing is I'm not really hungry at all right now. I could be fine just nibbling on little things, but I'm still laughing at myself for what I did, but I guess that's how you learn sometimes. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and have a meal, and then I'll get the rest of my stuff set up in there, brush my teeth. So I'll probably be in the tent within an hour or so, just because it's going to get cool down. And I will pick everything up, put it away, and I may even like wrap my shoes in the tent and stuff like that. I have a feeling they're going to freeze overnight, so it could be an interesting night. Good evening. So it is the end of night 1. It's about 6:30. I'm now in my tent, got all my chores done. I went ahead and used my iodine for my water bottles. My Sawyer was going very, very slow, and I even back flushed it at home and prepped it and got a little wet. And I even did it when I was here, and I just couldn't get more than small little drips. So I said, you know what? I think it's going to freeze tonight. So I didn't want to risk leaving that out. So I have all my water ready to go. I've got iodine when I wake up in the morning. That will be good to go. So water problem, fuel problem. Yeah, I'm dealing with some issues, but we're fine. I'm actually full. So I had trail mix and jerky. I'm fine there. So the route today, Goose Creek. It's just 2 to get down to it right here. And then doing the Hankins Pass. And I decided to do the Lake Park Trail. And that was an adventure. Absolutely. And most of that is around 11,000 feet. Thus why there is snow everywhere. And then I turn upward here. Probably right where that 0.9 is where I am right now. So tomorrow, I'll stay on that trail. I'll go through the Refrigerator Gulch area. And try to maybe get a camp spot somewhere around those intersections over there. So again, this is just the medium loop. And I think 2 nights will be fine based on what I'm doing out here. It's going to be interesting to see how cold it gets tonight. So I'm doing an experiment with my water. So I've got them in snow to try to insulate them. And then I've got covers on them. So we'll see how that works. And then one of my water bottles, I just have it in the snow sitting there. So I'm predicting it will freeze a little bit. So we will see. All right, I brought a Kindle, so I'm going to read that for probably about an hour or so, and I bet I'll be going to bed tonight around 8 o'clock or so. Pretty exhausted after that slog today in the snow, and the 3 guys I talked to that came from that way, they said it was pretty bad too. So it's when you're at elevation, keep in mind Memorial Day, it can happen. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, and it's Saturday, day 2, and I've been up for about 15 minutes. Kind of shaking everything down. Definitely have frost and everything. My water did not freeze, so since I don't have a fuel canister, cold coffee, cold cereal, not ideal, but we'll make it work. So I'm going to do a quick breakfast, get my stuff cleaned up, dried out, and get back in the trail. And I was actually trying to do a slower start today, trying to get some sunlight over here, just because I don't think my hike today will be as long. So I figured, all right, I'll get a little bit later start. But luckily, all my water over here, none of it did freeze last night. Actually, by keeping it in snow helped out. But it was probably very close to the temps, or it might have been for a while. But a good night's rest, definitely peaceful. The only thing you hear here are birds. So I'll check in once I get on the trail. All right, 20 minutes into my hike, and it was all uphill. And I finally got to my trail junction. So as I thought, I was pretty close to it. And I've been here before. And if I would have remembered it, I probably would have come up here. If you look ahead of me here. So again, I'm going to be going to the right. But big open field area. Gorgeous. It's open. I believe there's water probably way over there. But just a cool area. So it may be a couple-minute walk till I get there. So I'll show you once I'm there. But yeah, this would have been much better. You can see just there's campsites here. Fire rings. And I believe there's rock structures ahead. So if that's what I'm thinking it is, I'll show you once I get there. So this is off trail. Give you a 360. Trail being up there in the snow line. So I've been here before, but I think it was coming from the other direction a couple years ago. And I remember thinking this would be a cool place to camp. So by structures, I don't mean like cabins, but just areas you can tell where people are camping. There's one there. There's actually someone camping over there, over there, over there. And there was water over there. So you can miss this when you're going by it if you're not looking for it. So big open meadow, big bowl area, great sunlight. And the temp, I'm surprised. I actually feel really good right now, even though it's still got to be in the mid 40s. But no problem. When you're in the sun, it makes a big difference. So, all right, I'm heading back into there and going that way. All right, back in the forest with the squirrels. Everyone's chirping at me, so you can tell everyone's kind of waking up. Sun's peeking through a little bit. Here's the trail. So I've been kind of thinking how different of a hike this would have been if that big storm from 8 days ago didn't hit. I really don't think all of this would be here. It'd be in patches. Yeah, it's not the easiest walking on either without the poles. But I'm kind of embracing it now. So now to me it's more of this is actually kind of cool. I haven't done something like this in a long time. And as I was looking at my map last night, Lost Park is an additional 500 feet of elevation gain as opposed to the other route. And a lot of those slopes are north facing. That's why it was tough going and I didn't film a lot. But this is actually pretty cool. So working my way, and again, many hours from now, toward Refrigerator Gulch. and I believe a big water crossing. All right, so I finally made it down the hill. The trail is very open and blazing. It's just all switchbacks, probably 25 minutes. So now I'm starting to run into groups of people. I've got 4. They're all going the other way, going up, and they're telling me they haven't really even seen a lot of snow yet. So the way I did it, going clockwise, I'm trying to get the harder climbing out day 1. Since I am now at a low point, keep in mind, this does mean I will now be going uphill and kind of doing my section of it right here. But feeling pretty good so far. I'll probably take a break in a half hour or so. I believe there's a bigger water crossing where I may have to change. I asked them about that. I'm getting different answers, but I believe with the recent snow, it should be pretty deep, but it's only a 10-second walk. So I'll definitely film that once I get there, but until then, beautiful. So this is probably the lowest elevation I've been for quite a while. So I've been at the same spot before in the summer, and that will have absolutely no water in it. In fact, you can see animal tracks in the mud. So that's a good 2 feet higher, closer toward me than that stream over there. You really don't see it or hear it. So definitely higher water. All right. Ups and downs right now. I still have to get to the major crossing. I don't think it's too far away, but I really like this part of the hike. I would say probably my favorite. Because again, when you're normally doing this in the summer, you got these stretches without water for about 7 miles. You know, you can get it here, but also it's kind of pretty. It opens up, the sun gets it, so you wouldn't even know right now there's snow up here. All right, another look at this, and I'm heading to the big water crossing that way. So I believe I'm at the creek crossing. It doesn't look bad at all. Could be a little slippery right there, but if this is what people are talking about, then no problem. I won't film it. I'll be using my trekking poles and holding them low for balance, but I believe this is the main water one. It kind of looks like it. There used to be a rope somewhere on one of these, so I could be wrong, and I will find out, but otherwise, plowing on through. All right, it's about 11:15, so I'm starting to head back uphill. So most recently over there, but I believe the pass was on that side, and it just zigzags back and forth. And now going along here and coming up. Cool geology here, kind of like a hoodoo, but as you come through here, it's just very, very different. Again, probably why I think it's the coolest part of the hike. You're just in between 2 large valleys, so either direction you're going, you will be doing some climbing, but you'll get your descent in it as well. And interesting over here, no evidence of all of really bad snowfall. I think the rocks heat stuff up. It's open, it's exposed. So this is a nice area. I'm beginning to get a little hot. All right, so 5-minute water break, and I'll be heading that way. All right, so when you come out here, you gotta appreciate where you are. It's probably the coolest view. You can't really see with the GoPro is over there. It's just massive over there. Going in this general direction, and it now feels like on your loop, you're heading back to the origination point. Tree blocking, but coming from here and over there. But nice wide open area. So again, if you're doing the hike reverse direction, you're really not gonna get the feel of what the snow is actually like at this particular time of year with what happened 8 days ago. So awesome area, nice little breeze. So I still have a major hill ahead of me. So these are just a kind of a bunch of ups and downs, PUDs, pointless ups and downs that I'm on right now. But I do believe over here there is another section where I will go up, and there may even be a campground right before it. Again, I've been out here a lot of times on different trails. They kind of look familiar until you're actually really there. So we will see, but if that is true, I think I'll go up the hill rather than camping there, just so I can get some more miles in. Nice conditions right now. All right, one more look at the beauty that's out here. All right, so if you look at my All Trails app, I am literally right at 15 miles.
Hopefully that comes out all right so you can see the loop. So I am, can't really do it with the hand. Right there where the blue dot is. So I'll be going this way. So again, 15 miles, so less than 10 to go. This would be pretty sweet to see if it was raining, just what was going on. So I believe this keeps going down, and somewhere over here, it bottoms out, and then it will start your big climb again. So great weather. Haven't bumped anyone for a while, because I think most people are in the middle of the routes and trails, but yeah, this is just nice and peaceful and perfect weather. All right, I am now at the water crossing. That is real. That is going to go up to the boys, I bet ya. Whew. It's definitely not like South Beach in here either. Knees, crotch, slowly going up. All right. I was going to do multiple videos, one without the pack, one of showing me crossing it. I think I'll skip that. All right. Glad I took off the shoes and boots for that, so I'll get cleaned up. All right, the people bomb has gone off, so probably a half mile that way is where that big river crossing was. A group of 8, a family of 4, a group of 4, and a group of 2. So I guess everyone is coming this way. I have a feeling they're going to be competing for spots. That is not my croc. Let's go take a look up here. So you could walk through there if you wanted to really go down there and explore. I'm not doing that right now, but cool vista. So I'm going uphill that way. All right, 16 miles into the hike, going clockwise. I know GoPro doesn't give you a great depth perception. No zoom, but beautiful area. Getting a little windy now. I can tell I'm getting toward the top. Coming from right over there, I would say. Trail goes way over here, and it kind of snakes all around. And if I look, I'm under the impression I'm toward the top. Been wrong a lot. It's kind of part of the fun, is you're never quite sure. So, all right. I'm probably, hopefully, within 3 miles of starting to look for a site. So today was not the aggressive day. And it's an amazing hike. It's a completely different feeling compared to day one with the snow, as there's just nothing on this side. I'm going to predict I will run into some, and we'll see how that goes. But all right, time to get back on the trail. Good afternoon. It is day 2 and it's only 3:30. Set up, actually dried my stuff out. There's a nice breeze going on now. This is a busy intersection, so there's water right here. You'll probably see people coming from behind me. They just started today, and you can tell everyone's aggressively looking for sites. I've got 1, 2 people over there, 1 over there, so it's filling up, and this is the last area for a while that's by the water, which is why it's popular. So as usual, the backcountry bar is open, so I always try to bring one. Colorado native West Slope IPA is delicious at home. It's even better out here. And since I'm not at 11,000 feet and it's not 40 degrees, a cigar as well. So now it's just sit back, relax for a little bit, and I'll make a snack and get the tent tidied up here in a bit. But beautiful day 2. Good evening. It is night 2 of the trip. It's about 6:15. I just got into my tent, got everything kind of laid out and organized, kind of drying stuff out, and nothing's really too wet. I actually re-wore most of the same clothes today just because I thought they would get wet, and what's the point? And to my surprise, this hike has been 2 completely different hikes. Day 1 was much harder at altitude with the snow, and today was virtually nothing at all and quite pleasant. Day 1 I did 10 miles. Today I did about 8. So looking at my map, it's kind of hard to see with the camera right here, but it was lake. So from right here where the 0.9 is yesterday, McCurdy Park Trail, kind of did the big turn. This is probably the prettiest scenery there is. And I'm just past Refrigerator Gulch. So tomorrow When I look at the mileage here, 6.3 plus 2, I literally have about 7 miles tomorrow. So, and it should be downhill for the most way, so it should be pleasant. I do believe there is weather coming in. Definitely not like what came here 8 days ago, but enough to say, all right, it might be time to roll. But tons of people here right now. So coming counterclockwise today, I probably passed about 30 people. And most of them, it was at that channel point of that bridge with the water crossing. Immediately after I did it, a group of 8 came, and then a group of 4 came. It'll be interesting with groups that big. They may be either racing or trying to find sites if they want to stay together. And interestingly enough, I actually ran into a guy today from over here when I was getting water from Georgia, and he was telling me that he recognized me. And I was trying to figure out how. I didn't know him. He said he saw one of my videos before, of all things, and it was a Lost Creek and how he was out here. So that was kind of cool that someone saw, and I believe it was one of my prior Lost Creek videos, and he thought that the backcountry bar idea was great. All right, I will see you in the morning. Good morning. It is day 3. The sun's just starting to peek over the mountaintop over there. Feels great. It did get colder last night than actually when I was at 11,000 feet, so cold air definitely sinks. So my water bottle, you can see there's ice floating in there at the very top, and most of it. Oops. Okay. Looks like I'm the first one up today. So get my stuff packed up. Gonna have a quick to go. So I should be on the trail in 45 minutes. And you can see that's kind of getting the frost off it as well. So definitely a chilly morning, but the sun definitely helps. So once I'm on the trail, I'll check in. All right, it's Sunday, and I am finally on the trail, just about 8:30. First one out of camp for the morning. Already got a little water crossing. That log's a little rolling wet. So I have about 7.5 miles to make it back today, and looks like good weather in the morning, but I believe weather comes in this evening. Did see one group ahead of me, so if there are animals out, I won't be the first to see them. But once I get rolling, I'll give you some pictures on the way. Not a bad background. So uphill the last 25 minutes. Still got a ways to go, but I think I'm getting towards the top area. Again, there's a lot of puds on these hikes, but here's just a good overview of it. Open wilderness. Definitely cool. It's nice being out in the sun. That hike is predominantly switchbacks in the shade, so when you get your sun, it actually feels pretty good. All right, that away. All right, so I'm at the next trail junction, and this should be the last until the exit today. So I just came off of McCurdy Park Trail, now going on Goose Creek, and I will be going that direction towards the parking lot. Still a lot of climbing out here, so going up a nice little thing of steps right here to stop the erosion. I'm also surrounded by a lot of people now, so I'm not filming nearly as much to give them space and myself, so we'll see what happens when I get to the top. But there's a lot of people out here now. I'm surprised by how many dogs there are as well, so I'm probably going to conserve my battery life and take only a few videos. All right, beautiful vista area here. Tons of people out here today, a lot of day hikers. And it's kind of funny that I'm the only one without like a dog. You can always hear dogs and then see people. So people camping down there, but you see some clouds building up today. All right, so I'm gonna take my first break. It's about 2 hours into my hike, so I'm making good time, feeling good. And from here, I believe it's mostly downhill. A lot of people will be camping down here because there's a stream, you can actually fish it. So if you just want to do a one-night overnighter, good place to go down here. So I'm going to assume that parking lot is absolutely jam-packed. And again, a 360 of my area, and the trail is over there. I actually had my first raindrops, but just an idea of if you drop down, there's a trail over there that takes you down. There's sites all over this area. This is within 1.5 miles of the parking lot. So again, you could do a short road trip, try it out. Maybe you want to fish, not be too far from your car. Be a place to go, and there's trails if you look, kind of going way back in there as well. I bet you there's a couple dozen people down there now. All right, my next stop should be the signpost at the intersection. All right, I made it back to the last trail junction. So again, I started my route by going Goose Creek clockwise to the left, and I just came up here. So hard to see, but the trail goes up there into the parking lot, so I'll make a closing video at the sign. But wind feels good. It's actually getting a little hot out here, so I like the cloud cover. But lots of people out here today. Might be a busy drive home, so I'll check in once I get to the final marker sign and give you a trip report. All right, I thought I'd give a final trip report. Just over 25 miles, and keep in mind I'm filming as well, so that's not including that. That's just on the All Trails app, but the app works awesome. So again, when you come here, there's multiple routes that you can choose. So each time I come here, I try to do something a little different. Great trip overall. First day was very challenging, and anyone coming here right now might not understand what they could be in for there. Whereas days 2 and 3 were perfect conditions, nothing at all. It is extremely crowded here. I'm actually looking at cars parked here along the area. When I got here, there was 3. I bet it's full, and I see people driving by. So, all right, time to get cleaned up, drink and a snack, and get on the road. And my last tip, I love eating hot food. So this is my first backpacking trip, I would say, that was stoveless. And that was not my intent. I brought my stove. I actually dehydrated my own homemade meals, and I forgot to bring the fuel canister. And I actually filled a couple with a Lindell valve, so I cannot believe I did that, but lesson learned. If you go backpacking and you want to cook, make sure you bring your fuel canister. Thanks for watching.